She felt bullied and humiliated. She felt like her family would be a target. Her father already was a target because they were harassing
Jay-Z and Diddy of sexually assaulting her when she was just 13 years old.
Did you know that one shocking revelation could shatter the foundations of hip-hop royalty? What if every scandal, every whispered secret, was just the tip of an iceberg that could drag down even the most powerful figures in the industry?
Spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail, get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
To be clear, I couldn't find any articles that said that Jay-Z funded this docuseries, although I did see a few articles saying that Jay-Z declined to be interviewed for the show. She also said in this interview that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who do nasty things.
Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Allegedly.
It all started with a bombshell on the streets of hip-hop. Suge Knight, the notorious former death row boss known for his fearless and unfiltered opinions, recently took aim at Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, during an explosive X-tirade. On the Art of Dialogue podcast, Knight didn't mince words when he condemned West for his disrespectful remarks about Jay-Z and Beyonce's 7-year-old twins. "I need to holla at Kanye. We never disrespect no one's kids," Knight proclaimed, warning that there are real consequences for such brazen actions. This was not just about hurt feelings. It was a stark reminder that even in a world built on bravado, some lines should never be crossed.
Beyonce is the all-time greatest of a black woman. Her mother, Tina, is one of the best women around. And I like Jay-Z. Jay's a businessman. One thing I really want to say is that I had conversations with Kanye before, even recently. I need to holler at Kanye. I don't want to go by what other people say, what the media say. I want to hear from him. We never disrespect no one kids. We never put anyone down. That's the kids. And what I mean by that, most people probably don't have the nuts to say it. I don't got nothing else, I got my nuts. You don't talk about Jay and Beyonce's children or their son, whoever. You call them retarded. That's what we won't do. It's real consequences for those type of actions. I put the people in the hip-hop, people in our community, on a higher standard than that. We came a long way as black people, as slaves, not to attack people, kids, or somebody is disabled. That's not funny to me. Not one bit. I love all kids. And I love hip-hop. And I love the culture of our people. I'm trying to prove my ways and myself. I would hate for us to have to go backwards. That's basically what it is, you know. He's a and I look at it like this. What Beyonce does to hip-hop and the community of our people, that woman works really, really hard. I mean, her sister, their whole family is good people.
But why does this matter? How does this incendiary outburst tie back to our central story? The titanic clash of power involving Diddy's last victim, Jay-Z, and Beyonce. In the swirling vortex of hip-hop controversies, every comment, every lawsuit, every whisper holds a clue to a far larger narrative. And as we peel back the layers, a disturbing picture begins to emerge. One where alliances crumble and reputations, no matter how carefully constructed, are at risk of being obliterated by the truth.
The Obamas have made use of one music mogul mega couple, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Well, more than anyone. They've used these two for endorsements and donations and celebrity cred. They're close buddies with them. Now, some pretty dark and disturbing allegations are being brought against that celebrity couple. Seems like the Obamas are at the connection center for so many of these scandals. A reminder that the Obamas welcomed Harvey Weinstein to the White House dozens of times. They sent their daughters to go work for Harvey Weinstein. Really, great instincts, these two. You begin to actually wonder, quite frankly, with America's most powerful, creepy couple. Very strange backstory, those two. But anyway, Jaguar Wright says Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters in an interview with Piers Morgan. She claims that she knows victims who are willing to share testimonies about Jay-Z and Beyonce. Oh no. Many have been speculating that Jay-Z will be the next to fall. Jaguar Wright has been very vocal about her disdain towards several powerful figures in the media world, mainly Diddy and Jay-Z. In a new Piers Morgan interview, the singer unloaded more of her thoughts about the two moguls who urged Jay to break his silence about Diddy's arrest. You know, it's amazing. They've all been so quiet about it. Nobody's asked the Obamas about it, right? What about your friend here?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens or if the DA looks and investigates.
Jay-Z, a name that once resonated with untouchable authority, now finds himself entangled in a legal battle that threatens to rewrite the narrative of his legacy. In a bold move, the mogul, whose real name is Sean Carter, has launched a lawsuit against an anonymous woman who claimed in a previously dismissed civil suit that he and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her when she was a teenager. In the Alabama federal court filings, Jay-Z insists he is fighting to restore his impeccable and lifetime earned character, even as court documents from California suggest a tangled web of conflicting accounts.
Jay-Z has filed a lawsuit against his rape accuser and her lawyers for malicious claims. But the accuser is standing by her story. Jay-Z's 25-page complaint points to allegations of extortion, even though the anonymous woman has withdrawn her lawsuit. She withdrew it last month. The woman, you may recall, accused both Jay-Z and Diddy of sexually assaulting her when she was just 13 years old. Jane Doe spoke to NBC News about her accusations.
I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out. I haven't asked for a dime from him. It's not everything is motivated by money, and I'm sorry that he feels that it is.
In his complaint, Jay-Z says his accuser, along with her attorneys, quote, were soullessly motivated by greed, in abject disregard of the truth and the most fundamental precepts of human decency. Whoa. The complaint goes on to say the hip-hop mogul wishes to hold Doe accountable for her malicious prosecution of knowingly false allegations. Now, Jay-Z's complaint referenced his accuser as Jane Doe over 30 times. Now, we're asking, what questions do you have for Jane Doe? We still don't know who this woman is.
An ABC News exclusive interview with Jay-Z's attorney, as the hip-hop superstar is now suing a woman for defamation, saying she falsely accused him of assault. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersi spoke with him. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. The woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault has already dropped her lawsuit. But now, for the first time, you're going to hear the story behind the bombshell accusation that has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z's lawyer says it should put to rest any doubt about his innocence. This morning, the woman who said she was 13 when Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards is heard talking to private investigators about her claim and agreeing that Jay-Z did not assault her.
But Jay-Z you're saying he was definitely there? But he had no part in it, or he was just...
He was there. He was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any sexual acts towards you. It was strictly, yeah.
The woman is also heard saying her lawyer put her up to suing one of the world's most recognizable stars.
He was the one that kind of pushed me towards going forward with him.
With Jay-Z? Busby did?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
ABC News exclusively obtained a minute-long excerpt of the recording made days after the woman, identified as Jane Doe, permanently dropped her lawsuit against both Carter and Combs last month.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself.
The details of the legal skirmish are as riveting as they are disturbing. Investigators have unearthed claims that Jane Doe, whose suit was abruptly dismissed amid accusations of intimidation, was allegedly cornered by figures linked to Jay-Z's legal team. In a separate filing, one investigator described her demeanor as calm and composed, even when confronted with questions that could have unhinged a lesser witness. The stark contrast between her public declarations and the accounts of those who claim she was intimidated raise one crucial question. Is there more to this story than meets the eye? And if so, could these discrepancies be the key to understanding the downfall of one of hip-hop's most revered figures?
What is Jay-Z doing? I'm confused at this point. I don't care whether you think Jay-Z is innocent or guilty at this point. The case has been dismissed without prejudice, but Jay-Z let it leak that he literally lied, misled, and reneged on a deal with Jane Doe, and you're bragging about that? How does that not make her look like she was telling the truth? And that she withdrew the lawsuit not because it wasn't with merit, but because she felt bullied and humiliated. She felt like her family would be a target. Her father already was a target because they were harassing him to sign a waiver. One of the cases, the attorneys that worked on the case released a bunch of documents, and I'm going to read you some, but you guys, this is really gross. And I honestly don't understand what Jay-Z is trying to accomplish anymore, because the more you bully, the more it looks like she did fold under pressure. And it was actually said that you guys agreed to do something. They took away the case with prejudice, and then you guys reneged. How is that not illegal? How is that not illegal? And you know what's so gross? Listen, this is my opinion, whether you think Jay-Z is guilty or not, the fact that we are watching a billionaire pull out every dirty trick in the book, stalking, harassment, bullying, media bullying, manipulation, showing at your door, intimidation, literally making deals, then walking away from them, you admitted that you used a dirty trick to get this case dismissed. How does that help you?
So Jay-Z, our accuser, I'm terrified of him, but I stand by my claims. So the anonymous woman who accused Jay-Z of R in a sense-dismissed lawsuit is sticking by her story, and she says he's intimidating and terrifying her. All right, let me continue. The Jane Doe who sued Jay-Z and Diddy for allegedly R-ing her when she was a 13-year-old girl doubled down on her claims in new legal documents obtained by TMZ. And she says Hove is trying to bully her into saying her accusations are bogus. I mean, but what would be his incentive? She already dropped the case. Let's listen to what Harvey had to say from TMZ. Hold on.
We're out in Beverly Hills this weekend, all smiles.
With good reason.
With very good reason, because they got a big legal victory on Friday.
Can I quote Trump on this one? Huge!
It was huge.
Huge.
Absolutely huge. It really is, because there was a woman who had come forward claiming that she had been raped by Jay-Z and Diddy back in 2000 after the at a VMA after party.
And none of it made any sense.
Didn't make sense.
The
Huge
people who were
holes.
supposedly there were out of the state. The place they were at wasn't right.
Wasn't the right
There
place.
were a lot of holes in there.
And
Swiss cheese.
she finally filed to dismiss that lawsuit, so she dropped it voluntarily.
With prejudice.
Cannot be refiled.
As the layers of this saga are peeled back, the parallels between these controversies become impossible to ignore. Diddy's last victim is not just a headline. It is the linchpin in a series of events that have left the industry questioning everything it thought it knew about power and influence. The allegations against Jay-Z are reminiscent of past scandals, where the powerful were accused of using their status to silence victims and control narratives. The comparisons with high-profile cases like those involving Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly are unavoidable.
Epstein tried to lead a private life, but his work managing the money of the very wealthy got him into some very high-profile social circles. He became friendly with former President Bill Clinton and current President Donald Trump, also Britain's Prince Andrew. Epstein has 6 residences, including an entire private island in the Caribbean and this $56 million mansion. The 7-story house is one of the largest private residences in Manhattan. These recent charges include allegations he sexually abused underage girls from 2002 to 2005 inside his Manhattan and Palm Beach homes. When he faced similar allegations a decade ago, federal prosecutors in Florida struck a secret plea deal with Epstein. He avoided a possible life sentence in prison and spent 13 months in Palm Beach jail, where he was allowed to leave for work 6 days a week. That 2008 plea deal was negotiated in part by Trump's current labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, who was then the top federal prosecutor in Miami. Now, prosecutors and investigators are seeking to hold Epstein without bail and have appealed for other victims to come forward.
Your bravery might just empower others to speak out about crimes committed against them. It's important to remember there never was, nor will there be, an excuse for this kind of behavior.
Epstein could face up to 45 years in prison.
R. Kelly is going to prison. The question is, for how long? A jury today convicted the R&B star on all counts, all 9 of the racketeering and sex trafficking charges against him. They found R. Kelly guilty of being the ringleader of a decades-long scheme to recruit and groom women, underage girls, and boys to sexually exploit them for his own benefit. Prosecutors argued during a 6-week trial that he used his fame and his money to lure his victims, then control their lives, forcing them to have sex with him. Even that he knowingly gave them herpes. The jury deliberated for less than 10 hours total, 4 on Friday, 5+ today. His sentencing set for May the 4th. He could get up to life in prison. David Henderson now, civil rights attorney, CNBC contributor. David, as a special crimes prosecutor, you prosecuted cases similar to this one over and over. Explain why racketeering here and what it means as a conviction.
Shep, having prosecuted these, they're very difficult cases to win when you only have one victim during the trial, because juries always find a way to second guess people. The advantage of trying it as a racketeering charge is you're saying it's a criminal enterprise where Kelly was promoting his music and his brand to exploit people. So the jury got to hear from 11 different people and 45 total witnesses for crimes spanning 3 decades.
Yet, as we dive deeper, we must ask, what does this mean for the future of hip-hop? Could the exposure of these secrets, this unyielding quest for truth, be the catalyst for a seismic shift in the industry? The chilling possibility is that the system that once protected its idols may finally crumble under the weight of accountability. Imagine a world where no one, regardless of their fame or fortune, can hide behind a veneer of untouchability. Every whispered secret, every hushed conversation in the corridors of power could be laid bare for the world to see.
You know, I think we could go back at least 30 years ago to think about the case of Dr. Dre when he was involved in a beatdown of a Black woman journalist, Dee Barnes. And while there was very little critical pushback that occurred outside the criminal justice system within hip hop, there were folks outside of hip hop who clearly were paying attention, among them Black feminists who were writing and concerned about the kind of violence that was being directed towards Black girls that was embodied in this particular case with Dr. Dre.
That case was definitely something that was paid attention to. We also have to think about the trial of Tupac as well. You know, there have been cases associated with hip hop. So it goes back, like you said, like Dr. Neal said, about at least 30 years.
One of the reasons people focus on it, in particular, outside of things that happen, you know, if we focus on the lyrics, when female sexuality is spoken about, sex with women is spoken about, it quite often utilizes aggressive language. Do you agree?
Yes, we don't hear language of tenderness and romance usually directed at, and I mean, it's kind of, we're joking about it at this moment, but I think that speaks to the larger issue of how young men in general process issues of sexual intimacy with women, how it's been introduced to them as young men, how it's been visualized to them.
Fame. It's a seductive mistress. She promises the world adoration, wealth, power, but her gifts come at a price. She can twist even the purest heart, turning generosity into greed and compassion into cruelty. The world watches mesmerized as icons rise and fall. We celebrate their triumphs, but often ignore the warning signs. When does ambition become exploitation? When does influence become abuse? The recent scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs forces us to confront these uncomfortable truths. It's a stark reminder that the pursuit of fame and fortune can corrupt even the most celebrated among us. The accusations against Diddy paint a disturbing picture. They speak of a man who allegedly used his power and influence to take advantage of others. These allegations, if proven true, reveal a dark side to the glittering world of fame. They force us to question the systems that allow such behavior to flourish, and they demand that we hold those in positions of power accountable for their actions. The entertainment industry, built on dreams and aspirations, often becomes a breeding ground for abuse. The allure of fame, the promise of success, can blind us to the warning signs. We turn a blind eye to the whispers, the rumors, the stories that don't fit the narrative we've created, but silence only empowers the accusers. It's time to stop looking the other way. It's time to demand better from our idols. It's time to break the cycle of abuse.
In this enthralling mini-documentary, we have explored every angle with unflinching honesty. We have delved into the explosive statements by Suge Knight, whose call for an old-fashioned ass-whooping for Kanye resonates with those who believe that respect and decency should never be compromised. We have uncovered how his candid words have ignited a firestorm, prompting some to wonder if the days of blind loyalty in hip-hop are numbered. Meanwhile, we followed the legal labyrinth of Jay-Z's lawsuit, where accusations, counterclaims, and a tangle of court documents challenge the very notion of truth in a high-stakes game of reputation and revenge.
Once we was in the back, they sent some guy who with him to get me to sign off on it, saying they can use the footage. As I got ready to sign it, one of my really good friends, Wes, who works with Al Heyman, Big Wes, grabbed the paper, balled it up, and told the dude he was going to beat his ass and chased him out of there. So I said, man, what you do that for? Fuck him. I said, nah, man, say fuck him on your time. And next thing I know, I seen Salon, and she goes,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm like, oh, who I done said something about now? She said, no, you didn't say nothing about the thing. I said, look, that wasn't me. I said, I ain't gonna snitch on nobody, but shit, you should know that ain't me. We laughed about it. But what Beyonce accomplished and the balls she has to fight hard for the culture of our people says a lot. She one of the hardest working people that ever been in that business. Then Jay accomplished a lot. Jay got bars. He works hard. But for Kanye to say something about a child, he need an old-fashioned with it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, Julie, because in hip-hop there are rumors about personalities throughout the years. There have been rumors about Jay-Z, none of which have come true. But when I hear this, it just seems like he's angrier at the attorney than the accuser. Wouldn't you agree? That's what it sounds like to me, that he's trying to make a point.
Oh, yeah. I think he can't stand this attorney. I think Jay-Z loathes Tony Busby, you know, and look, if I was in Jay-Z's position and if I was falsely accused, I would too, right? If Jay-Z firmly believes that this guy has pushed forward false claims for a payday. Headcrack, let me go to you next. You touched on it in your first set of comments. What do you think the impact's going to be? Does this kind of make everybody want to question all the other suits this guy's filed?
I mean, I think as it relates to Diddy's case, if this trial was like a game of Uno, there are enough people holding draw fours to paint the picture that they want to paint of Diddy already. Like, you know, like this, even if 27 people made an accusation, and even if 4 of them actually turned out to be true, there's some merit here, you know, to go off on. And this guy has a lot of accusers to bob, weave, and fight against. Are all of them telling the truth? Time will reveal. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if someone comes out and says that they're a victim, we do have to hear them out.
The explosive podcast appearances, the courtroom drama, and the public outcry all feed into one central narrative. A narrative where Diddy's last victim has become the unexpected whistleblower, exposing truths that reverberate across the entire music industry. The consequences are monumental, and the stakes could not be higher. With Jay-Z and Beyonce's empire hanging in the balance, every twist in this saga raises the question: will the truth finally prevail, or will the powerful continue to manipulate the narrative for their own gain?
The allegations at the outset, he spoke about the painful impact that they had, especially on his kids. How as a father, has he tried to handle this?
It's tough to hear a false lie said about you, spread through the internet, and affecting your children. It's tough on him, it's tough on anybody. But what he does is he proves himself innocent. Today is hopefully the final chapter in that, and then they're going to move forward. That's what Jay does.
Jay-Z is now suing Jane Doe and her lawyer for defamation. Why not let it lie? The case is gone.
The truth had to fully come out. This person cannot be allowed to sort of hide from the reality that this was a false accusation.
While the accuser's lawsuit against Jay-Z and Sean Combs was dismissed, Combs still faces a number of other civil claims from other accusers, which he denies. And on Friday, guys, Combs is due in court to plead not guilty to a new indictment in his federal case.
In a world where every celebrity scandal is a battle for public opinion, this story dares to ask the difficult questions and challenge the status quo. The question remains, are you ready to see the empire crumble? Is this the final piece that cracks open the empire of Jay-Z and Beyonce? Or is it just another bold maneuver in the relentless power plays of hip-hop's elite? As Diddy's last victim drops bombshells that challenge everything you thought you knew, the stakes couldn't be higher. If you're ready to uncover every explosive twist and stay ahead in this high-stakes game, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The truth is on its way, and trust us, you won't want to miss a moment.